Meltzer with the crystal ball. Dave is quoted, direct quote here from the July Observer that we are quoting from. The failure to negotiate could, quote, turn out to be a key story 5 years from now when the final chapter is written about the period WCW actually was, for a short term, the global leader in the industry, only to piss it all away by lack of management foresight, end quote.
Like, they literally folded less than 2 years after this was written. They didn't even make it 5 years. We're literally talking about everybody that Bischoff wouldn't push is now the top of WWE. They're literally headlining WrestleMania, and Bischoff is an on-TV GM.
So think about this. Think about this, man. Jericho was part of WCW's 1996 signing class. Okay. That's the year the NWO was formed.
Right.
So you formed the NWO, and that year they signed Jericho, La Parka, Hoovy Juice, Psychosis, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, and others. And literally 3 years later, none of them got any kind of main event push.
That kind of class is literally like the John Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton was in the OVW signing that JR put together. Like, that is that good.
And here's where I would say, John, I actually think it's better because those guys were brand new to this market.
Yeah.
And so like they would have been able to break in and really break out.
Right. Yes, that's a great point. That's a great point because, yeah, all of these guys were overseas or in different markets completely, like they would have never been seen. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, it's something else, man. They had so much more seasoning. There was no John Cena is lazy on house shows or whatever those reports that we were getting before. There is no Dave Batista worked a -2-star match on a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was none of that with these guys. They were all literally ready. They needed seasoning on television. And the problem is that, and look, man, the WCW grew and grew and grew and grew. But while it was on the back of Hogan, Sting, Uncle Kev, Scott Hall, all those guys, nobody else was really getting created underneath. And the guys that were had a literal glass ceiling put upon them. And the only one close was Goldberg. And the problem with Goldberg is that he ended up in the whole mess with all those guys that we just said, you know, they didn't make anybody but him. And then by the time they figured out they needed to, it was too late.
That's so true.